Well, today we pay tribute, of course, to family, friends and loved ones who have lost their lives due to COVID-19, but also to gender-based violence, GBV. President Ramaphosa made the call earlier this month, saying South African flags are flying at half-mast in honour of gender-based violence victims and, of course, the survivors. Joining us now here on the South African Morning, Sandisiwe Williams, who lost a loved one to COVID-19. Sandisiwe, good morning to you. First of all, my condolences on the loss of your family member. I want to unpack both issues, if that's okay. We can do it separately, but they are being put together because many people are using the term a pandemic for COVID-19. But let's be honest, the second pandemic is GBV. The importance of these 5 days, what's your thoughts?
Look, what the president has put forth is vital. You know, these 5 days, but I mean, as much as we're looking at the 5 days, we have been in mourning since the beginning of COVID, you know. We are in mourning every time a man, you know, hits a woman, you know, a man hits a child. So it's all good and well that we're focusing on these 5 days, but I think we need to be cognizant to South Africa to the fact that we are in mourning. As long as there's violence, as long as we are under this pandemic, we are in constant mourning.
Many people are, and I'm one of those who support this particular view, is that it's good and well to have attention drawn to GBV, of course, during COVID-19. It's obviously where the focus is. But this GBV, the scourge of GBV, has been going on long before COVID-19 came out. It's been years that it's been going on. Why do we think having this remembrance time for GBV is going to make a difference? What are you hoping people are going to try and do during this time?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're currently in the 16 days of activism as well at the moment, and it's something that we have on a yearly basis. But, you know, 16 days of activism should be, you know, 365 days of activism. Look, will it make a difference? Not necessarily. Are we cognizant of the fact that, you know, this is what is happening at the moment? I think also the most important part is to question the fact that who is the president communicating to, you know, with these couple of days? I could tell you now that if I could call a cousin of mine in the ruler of the Eastern Cape, they won't know that the flag's a flag at half-mast, you know? So I think communication in terms of South Africa, the South African government is very important, and there's a lack thereof. So, look, it is what it is. We celebrate and we remember for those who know, for those who are aware. But, you know, the old Joe Soap sitting at home is not even aware that we've been celebrating 16 days of activism every single year during this time. You know, is not aware that the flags in South Africa are flying at half-mast. In fact, what does flying at half-mast even mean at the moment? You know, there's a random South Africa know what that actually means as well. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's a lot of work that we need to realize that South Africans are different. There are those people who are prone to knowledge. There are those people who are engaged, those people who want to know. But those people who just blasé about such things as well.
Who do you think should be paying the most attention during these 5 days of remembrance, of course, in the middle of 16 days of activism as well? You were saying, who is it talking to? Who would you like it to talk to?
I think it's important and it's imperative that it talks to everyone. It's not about who you are, where you are in society. It's not about your LSM rating. It's imperative that as much as, you know, South Africans we have our own equalities as a nation, but there are initiatives that speak to from a person from the lowest LSM to the person to the highest LSM. But it's how we filter the communication from that person to the other person. So it speaks to everyone. It's a problem for everyone in South Africa. It's not just a rich people problem or a poor people problem. It's a problem for every single person living in South Africa.
Let's talk a little bit about the COVID-19, if I can. I refer back to the tragedy in your family, having lost a loved one. Tell me a bit about the experience of that, what you as a family learned from that, and perhaps you can just share your thoughts on whether or not you think South Africans are taking this seriously. We just had a report earlier. We'll bring you numbers later. These numbers are beginning to go up again. Certainly, I'm beginning to get the sense that I think once we went to level 1, COVID was kind of forgotten about. You know, you might remember your mask, you might remember to sanitize. It seems to be very much on the back burner again, but clearly it is very raw and very real for you.
I think for us as a family, we went through 2 deaths during level 5. It was a horrific experience, especially because you were, you know, during December we were all together. And then, one day someone is taken to hospital and the next day they die. We're left in Johannesburg, as myself, having to watch, my grandfather's funeral on Facebook Live. I'm left having to get pictures via WhatsApp. Whereas the kind of family that I'm from is when something happens and it's tragically, we all come together. So it was hard. It was hard. And I mean, especially being from the Eastern Cape as well, one is looking to go back home this December. Do we go home this December? We're scared to go home.
Where's home?
Home is King Williamstown.
King Williamstown,
yeah.
Right. Well, let's just look at the numbers. While Sandisiwe and I continued talking, we were talking about those numbers. One of the biggest concerns is, of course, the Eastern Cape. Confirmed cases now 781,941, over 3,300 new confirmed cases in just the past 24 hours under Sandisiwe. So we'll leave that up for a second so people can see around the country. Do you think we should be on level one? We've spoken to so many government ministers, we've spoken to so many experts on this, but someone who's gone through the tragedy that you have, what is your view on currently being level one? Should we be here? Should we be going back? Is it too lax, too draconian?
You know what, the funny thing is, I always say to people, we've reached a point where may the best immune system win. That's where we are. And that is the reality. And the sad part is that not everyone can afford to go buy zinc. Not everybody can afford to go buy immune so that they can make sure that the immune system is in check. So in terms of where we are, look, with the excuses that we've been receiving is that we can't lock down the economy anymore. Obviously we've seen the repercussions of what lockdown, has had. The economy, we see the repo rate as well is suffering. If I were to be made president for a day, I'll definitely lock down the Eastern Cape. I would definitely lock down the Eastern Cape so that people can understand the severity of what is happening. We've got people and friends in the Eastern Cape, but we still see people on WhatsApp statuses having a doll, having a time of their lives. So it's real for certain people. For other people, they're very blasé about it.
And can you imagine what it's going to be like during December with the December?
It's going to get worse.
Well? Sandisiwe, I'm going to say thank you very much. Indeed, very brave of you to come on to speak about your family, the two losses in your family. My condolences again. And speaking to us about GBV. Sandisiwe Williams joining us here on ENCA.